We should be going live now. Welcome everyone. This is on Just Restart. Restart? Who's that? This is on Just Restart. How you guys doing? This is the On Just Restart podcast. I'm joined by Brandon from What About Nintendo, and we're here to talk Nintendo like we do every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. What is it for you? 8 p.m. CST? Yeah. But full disclaimer, I don't know how long this one's going to be. It might be a little shorter than usual. The news week was a little slow. I worked probably closer to 15 hours yesterday, so I'm kind of like a little zapped. But there is some interesting stuff to talk about this week, so we're going to talk about it, share our thoughts with you guys, and hopefully have a good time. So, Brandon, before we get started, just, I don't know, how you doing, buddy? I haven't spoken to you in a couple days.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I've been working on some stuff. It's been hard to get things done because some family stuff.
Okay.
So I've been
Personal,
very busy.
private family stuff, or just family busy stuff?
I mean, it's not that private. I guess my mom is pregnant and she's almost due. She's doing like 2 weeks.
Is it like your 12th brother coming?
10th, and it's my second sister.
Oh my!
So
wow!
So the first one was a girl, and then there was 8 boys, and now there's another girl. So
wow.
Yeah, she's due soon. So there's been a lot of. She's been going to like the hospital for checkups, and I've been having to watch the kids, and so less work getting done than usual. But I'm still cramming.
You're not the oldest, right?
No, I'm the third oldest.
Third oldest, yeah. Okay, that's crazy though.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I can see how that could definitely be like, time consuming and distracting and such, but...
And last weekend was my dad's 40th birthday, and we gave him Nova, which is a car. 75 Nova, the same model type that he had when he was 17, his first car, and the exact same engine that was in that car that had been taken out because he got it totaled, which was a small dent on the side, and they didn't want him to... They wanted to give him like no money for it, so he took the engine out, and so now it's in his car. We surprised him with that.
Oh, that's a pretty neat gift. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. For me, nothing too interesting has happened. I just worked and made videos. I think I had one of my more productive weeks last week. Personally speaking, I worked full-time hours. I made a fair bit of money, right? Because I'm not rich. I just have a lot of bills to pay. But I also managed to do the podcast stream last Monday, right? I had a video come out Tuesday. I did started the Ocarina of Time stream on Wednesday. I had another video come out on Thursday, which was the Zero Suit Samus video, right? And then Tuesday I had the Rayman video, arguing Rayman for Smash Brothers. Friday I managed to do another Ocarina of Time stream. I haven't done any game streams in over a month, and I did 2 in 1 week.
Right. And
then on Saturday I dropped another video. So I'm gonna try and maintain this schedule. Will I succeed? Only God knows. Not even myself. But I'm gonna try. So I guess the schedule is, it's up in the air, but the targeted schedule is going to be podcast Monday nights, like how it has been for like over a year already.
Right.
But streams Wednesday and Friday nights, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I will be having some sort of edited video come out. But yeah, aside from just trying to be productive, I haven't really, nothing interesting has been happening. In fact, this has been kind of a slow news week, but there's still some interesting stuff to talk about, like, and potential leaks for the N64 Classic. Some sort of discussion sort of spurring about maybe Banjo Threeie being in production, not production or development, right? And maybe we can even get to the discussion about Banjo and Smash Bros. Banjo in the N64 Classic, maybe. Rare having some influence there. These are things we can still talk about because it's relevant, right? And it's what the discussion has been this week. There hasn't been too much news, but Starlink is coming out, Darksouls Remastered is coming out. It's going to be our first topic for the night. We're going to sort of debate which one we should get, just for fun. And there's a couple other little tidbits that we'll be discussing throughout the night, and that's pretty much it, guys. But for those of you watching, if there's anything else you want us to cover, of course, put it in the chat, and we will talk about it. We will cover it. I guess we'll also probably be covering at some point the lack of a Smash Direct last week, even though it was widely expected. The information beforehand suggested that we would get one based off the the updated, YouTube fighter pages, a Smash website, and like all of that was suggesting we would get some sort of announcement for Smash Brothers, and it still hasn't happened. So it may still happen this month, but I mean, we'll get into that too. That's it. I put that as a topic, right? I'm pretty sure I did.
I think you did.
I did. I know what I'm talking about. I wrote it down. Why would I forget?
Right.
I don't know. I might have forgotten. No, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. It's an actual planned topic, guys. Don't worry.
I see it.
But yeah, how's everyone in chat doing? Hey, DK Channel, Josh, Julio, Sabbath, how are you guys doing tonight?
Welcome one, welcome all.
Yeah.
I'm assuming DK Channel is probably DK Smash.
You don't know that.
I don't know that.
You don't know that. You shouldn't. That's an assumption.
Yes.
Hey, Chris. Yeah. Oh, Pokemon Marshmallow was that? They showed off another Pokeball. Yeah, that pizza I put on Instagram. It was good. I got a nice flatbread pizza, meat everywhere. It was delicious. But yeah, let's get the discussion started, Brandon. So, Starlink or Darksouls? That's what I just put for the topic because I haven't played either game yet. I've been looking forward to both games. Their reviews are coming out for them. We're hearing about these games. Obviously, Dark Souls' game's already come out. Dark Souls Remastered's already come out on the Era system. It's finally coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Right? It costs $40, which is going to be a main sticking point for me. And then Starlink, depending on where you buy it, it's a little different because if you buy it with the Star Fox package that comes with the R-Wing and stuff, I think it's what, $70?
Yeah, if you buy it physically, then it's $70. If you buy it digitally, it comes with the same stuff, but you don't have to have the toy, so it's $10 less. So I think it's $60. It's $70 physically, $60 digitally.
Okay, so obviously we don't know everything there is to these games yet, although we have a pretty decent understanding of them, right? Where do you stand, Brandon? Are you going to even get either of these games this week or anytime soon, or are you just siding with one, or maybe you're going to try and get... if I could, I would get both, but I may have to just get one this week and I'll put off the other for another time.
Yeah, the thing is, Dark Souls is a game I want to try because I don't know if I'll like it. I like everything about it. I like that it's medieval action RPG. That's cool. I like that it's got kind of exploring around as fighting bosses and there's dragons and cool stuff that happens. But from what I've seen, it looks slow and kind of clunky controls. From what I've seen people fight, it's usually very slow and methodical. And I typically like games that are more fast paced. And I'm just not huge on games that are ridiculously hard. Doing the same thing over and over again kind of makes
Weakling.
me... I get so frustrated.
You teddy bear, you.
I never play it again because I'll get stuck on something. I'll be never touch it again because I'll get sucked into some other game. So I'm just worried if I buy it, it's gonna be a game I pick up and I'm oh, I don't actually really enjoy this that much.
Okay, I mean everyone has different tastes, of course. For me, it seems ideal. One, I haven't played the original Dark Souls before, but I did play Bloodborne, which is a Souls game. Right, and I loved Bloodborne. I loved it. It was so good. And in reference to the combat, it's very, well, I guess in a way they kind of limit what you can do on purpose, right, to make the game a little harder. But I didn't feel like it was slow. Bloodborne. Now, Bloodborne is a little bit different than the original Dark Souls, right? So I haven't gone and played that. But from everything that I've heard about the Dark Souls series, that gameplay is where it's at, right? The combat is deep. It's about, timing and spacing and really having your head together, right? So it's a challenging game, but it's not necessarily about lightning fast reflexes, though. At least from what I understand. If I'm wrong, don't kill me. Right, but based off what I've seen of Dark Souls, based off what I've played from Bloodborne, what I've heard, that's what I think. And it's right up my alley. I mean, it is in a way kind of like Zelda, not exactly, but there are aspects to it that are very Zelda-like. Right, and it plays to that very medieval, that gothic style. You know, you're running around, you're fighting monsters and you sword fighting and stuff, and that's something that I'm really into. I'm really into that theming. I love the challenge. It seems kind of scary at times as well.
Right.
And I'm all about that, right? And it's only $40. Right, it is a remastered game. It's an old game that's been remastered, right? But from everything I've heard about the remastered, it's a pretty good version of the game. So for someone who hasn't played it before, I actually am really interested in it, especially because I already know I'm a Souls fan because I loved Bloodborne. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love Dark Souls. Starlink, on the other hand, it's a little different for me because from what I've seen of it, like, I'm super into the Star Fox stuff. The Star Fox stuff is really exciting to me, but I've heard that while there is some cool Star Fox stuff, it isn't like a big chunk of the game, right? Yes, you can play in the R-Wing and there's Star Fox mounted throughout the game, but like the exclusive Star Fox missions apparently only take about an hour or so. Although I'm not gonna I heard that from Game Explain. They also said the Torna was only 12 hours, but
is kind of notorious for rushing through things. I've noticed that in a lot of their reviews where it's like, it only takes set amount of hours, and then I'll play it normally. It takes me like a lot longer than what they said.
Maybe we're just bad.
It's not even that like I fail. It's just like I'm not like rushing through to get the review done.
Right. I mean, for example, they said it took them 12 hours to beat Torn of the Golden Country, and I was like, what? And then I saw someone else said 20, and even still, like, feel like 20 is a little low. I haven't beaten it yet, but I'm at the 30-hour mark. Granted, there's a couple times I just kind of fell asleep and left it on for a few hours, but I've definitely at least put in 20, 25 hours into the game. Right. And I would say, I mean, based off what I've seen so far and what I've heard, I'm probably about halfway done. And so, you know, I haven't done every single side quest, but I do stop to smell the roses. I collect, I fight enemies, I talk to NPCs and stuff. I'm basically experiencing the game.
Right. That's what you gotta kind of have to do with RPGs.
At a fair pace. I'm not being painfully slow, but not painfully fast either. Like, there's a middle ground. And, you know, I would say that I'm pretty good at Xenoblade. I don't suck, right? Like, I make tips videos about this. A lot of people ask me for help about Xenoblade. Like, I understand Xenoblade, right? So, I don't lose. So, well, I mean, occasionally if I fight a really hard boss when I'm under-leveled, yeah, I'll lose. That happens, right? But sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe, you know, even though there's like a 10 level, like a difference into like, you know, a level 50 monster and we're only at level 40, I'll be like, maybe I can handle this, right? I might go for it, and then like 3 other monsters will come in and be like, okay, well, I'm screwed, right? But, you know, I know what I'm doing, is what I'm saying. So I'm not trying to say I'm a master, I'm just trying to say that I don't suck. So, you know, my experience of the game, I feel like, is very telling for how a normal person would probably experience it to some degree. So I'm just saying that, yeah, that game is not, it's not short. It's not short. I mean, you could probably easily put in 30, 40 hours, maybe more.
Yeah,
I've
the
heard
original
people get
game
to 60, 70, even 80
original
hours.
Game took me 60 to beat the story.
Yeah.
And I didn't even hardly do any side quests. I was just kind of, I got so enthralled with the story, I just kind of kept going.
Right. Yeah, I mean, with Xenoblade 2, I just, yeah, me too. I blazed through the story. I blazed through it. I still put over 100 hours. But
I still put 60 hours into it, the first, like, story run.
Yeah.
Insane.
But, you know, just kind of to bring it back to why we went off on this tangent. Point being, some of the hours that we've heard may not really be indicative of what a normal person's playing time would be for that particular game. So maybe the Star Fox content in Starlink is maybe more like 2 or 3 hours, right? Maybe. But the point is that 1, 2, or 3 hours, it's not that much, right? It's not a whole Star Fox campaign, and I think that's the point that they were trying to make, and that's fine. So, you know,
it has to be. I don't think they can.
Yeah, of course.
Sell you the same game for the same price, and one version has like way more content exclusive to it.
Right.
That'd be kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess. But you know, the main point is just that it's not a Star Fox game. But if you're a Star Fox fan, there's something you can appreciate about this, right? And that excites me about it. So I guess what it comes down to, do I like Starlink as a game, not just the Star Fox content? Right. And for what I've seen of like the graphics, I love the art style, I love the graphics. It looks amazing, even on Nintendo Switch. In fact, like there's nothing wrong with the Switch version. I've seen the Switch version, it just looks amazing, right? So it just looks great. So that in that regard, it seems cool. I love the idea of space traversal in an open world style, being able to transition between planets and space seamlessly, and they've handled that perfectly, right? I like how there's kind of like a strategy, like constantly the world is there's a strategy, not like a. You have to be strategic about how you go about playing the game world because it's a constant war with the dark side, right? So there's like some real-time strategy elements involved along with all of the standard like action open world RPG stuff as well. So it's really cool. It is in a way kind of like maybe what Star Fox 2 back on the Super Nintendo. Oh yeah, it was a Super Nintendo game, right? Could have been. You know, like this sort of like real-time strategy aspect that's in there in the overworld, which is really interesting. And then you explore these worlds. Now, what I've heard is it can get a little repetitive, right? And maybe even though each world looks distinct, there's not too much variation with the actual gameplay style between each world. So that's a little, you know, makes me a little uncomfortable, a little uneasy about putting down $70 for this, right? I don't know. That's the thing though. When it was like I hear these reviews, it kind of kills my hype a little bit. Based off simply everything I've seen, I wanted the game, but now that I hear these reviews, it's kind of, I still kind of want it, but I don't want it as much. I might do a little bit more research before I'm really sold on it. But basically, just because it's more expensive, and I don't know if I'm going to love Starlink, I'm probably going to get Darksouls this week, because one, is cheaper, and it's already kind of a known quantity for me, because it's a Souls game, right? And I know I like Souls games, so I'm definitely probably going to go for Darksouls Remastered, because I know I'm going to like that, right? Starlink, I'll probably have to wait a couple more weeks before I buy it, but I mean, at the same, it just looks so cool to me that I'm probably going to have to give it a shot anyways. I just love the premise of the space travel, right, and all these different exotic worlds, right, and then the real-time strategy elements, and then on top of that, the Star Fox stuff. That all seems really cool to me. So I probably will give it a try. I'm just probably not going to give it a try immediately. That's where I'm standing on this.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's the kind of game that's going to go on sale pretty quickly, and I can get it for cheaper. I'm just not sure. Because it is a Ubisoft game, and typically those kind of third-party games just kind of drop in price. I mean, then again, it's on Nintendo systems, so maybe Nintendo will be like, I don't want it to drop in price. But this is mostly Ubisoft's game, so I don't see Nintendo having too much say on that, fortunately. So maybe I'll pick it up and it'll be like $30 or something. I kind of want to get it physically, because at this point with my Best Buy thing, I can get it for $56, where digitally it's $60, and I get the Star Fox like
that's a nice
deal. Yeah, and it looks cool, and I can like display it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I kind of want to get the retail version for the display, but I've heard that it kind of is easier to play the game digitally.
Yeah, apparently because you can switch weapons easier. I had thought that they said once you use the ship, you can also use it digitally, but maybe you have to purchase it again digitally just in case
you can use it digitally, but you have to renew. You have to like get a digital like ID for each part, but you have it for like a week, and you have to use the part to renew it. That's what I've heard.
Okay, well that's not that bad.
Yeah. I don't think it's that bad. I think I would go for the retail version, especially because I heard that the game's actually, I think, 12.7 gigabytes. But I also heard, actually, that even with the retail version, there is a day one patch that is 6 gigabytes.
Yeah, 6 gigabytes.
6
I saw
gigabytes.
That and I was like, it's weird.
Let's point out that the internal storage on the Nintendo Switch is, what, like 27, 28, right? Because it's 32, but, you know, the service...
it's like 4 or 5 gigs for the... UI and stuff.
Exactly. So that's a lot. That's like 20% of your storage approximately, right?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I need to get all I have for SD card is an 8 gigabyte.
I have a 32 gigabyte micro SD card in my Switch currently, but I've been kind of holding off. I want to eventually get a 256 gigabyte one, so I could store a lot of games on there. But for all like the major Nintendo games, I'm getting the cartridges because of the whole memory issue. What?
Right, they just had a deal for that at Best Buy like a few
I know.
months ago.
I keep on missing out, but Black Friday is right around the corner.
Right.
Maybe I'll get a 512 micro. Is that even a thing?
I think they just put those on the market, actually.
I would put down...
expensive.
Probably, yeah. But the Black Friday deals can be pretty insane, so we'll see what happens. But let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I know I've kind of left you guys in the dark for a little bit, but we got into it. Hey, Vilbeard. Hey, Zach is back for Fallout 76.
I am excited about it because it looks like a fun, like, multiplayer game, but at this point the performance is absolute garbage. But apparently that was like an old build and the new build is like way better. But I mean, it looks interesting. It's like running around playing Fallout with your friends. Fallout's never really interested me too much because it's like, it looked kind of, I wanted it to be like a multiplayer thing, and they made that, and I was like, oh, it's like what I wanted them to do. So it looks interesting to me. I'll check it out. Gotta wait for a review though.
It's not that I don't think it's interesting, it's just I've never actually played Fallout before. And there's so many other games for me to play that I don't think I'm gonna get to it.
Right.
I just don't. I mean, I'll probably end up trying out Fallout 3 or 4 first before I get into the series, before I try out other things on it. So yeah, I guess my answer is I'm not pumped, but not because I don't think it's good, but just because I'm not a Fallout fan, and there's so many other games that are on my priority list.
I feel kind of the same way. I'm just kind of interested in it because I want another multiplayer game to play, like an open world one. Like that'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Sabbath. It'd be really cool if Banjo made it back to a Nintendo platform. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But just full disclaimer: any sort of allusions I've made to that within the topics and description, I'm not saying there's gonna be like a Banjo Threeie on Nintendo Switch. That is not what I'm saying. But like maybe like N64 Classic, we might see Banjo Kazooie, or maybe we might see Banjo and Smash, something of that nature, maybe, right? But an actual new Banjo game coming to Nintendo, I mean, the odds of that, very low, like very low. But I don't want to say impossible, but like don't even hope for it. Like you're wrong for doing that. But you know, there's just. But a man can dream, right? But anyway, you know, if you really want to play Banjo Kazooie, like Banjo 3, if it ever does come out, and we'll get to that in a bit, probably should get an Xbox then. Which is probably why Microsoft would want to make one, you know, to get more people to buy an Xbox.
Yeah, until the inevitable PC port comes in, I'm just like, oh well.
That's another good point. Hey, Nerdy Cabana, how you doing, man? Actually, guys, Nerdy Cabana is an up-and-coming YouTuber as well. You guys should check him out. We may be having him on as a podcast guest next week. So, you know, if you want to see what he's all about, check out his channel. He covers Nintendo stuff too. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, texting while driving is very healthy, Vilbeard.
It's the healthiest thing you can do. I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
My doctor recommends it all the time.
Yeah. Just full disclaimer: no texting and driving is not healthy. It is very dangerous. You should never do it. You could die.
If your doctor recommends it, you should probably stop going to that doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. On Sabbath, Starlink is $70. Yeah. Darksouls Remastered is available for $40. Starlink, the retail version, is $70, but it comes with the whole Star Fox packaging and the toys and stuff. And then the digital version is $60. So you basically get the same value with the digital content, but it's just digital. But you don't have the toy stuff, which is kind of like one of the interesting mechanics to the game that make
the toys are well crafted from what I've seen. So they look pretty cool. They have like cool collectibles. So
yeah. Let's see. Well, let's move on to the next topic. Or is there anything else you want to add? And I think we've kind of covered it for the most part. We don't own either game yet, so we can't really go really into depth with what we think of these games. But based off what we've seen, you know, if you're a Souls fan, you probably want to give, or you're interested in the Souls games, maybe give Dark Souls Remastered a try on the Nintendo Switch. I think from what I've seen, it runs really well on the Switch. And given its portability, I think that will benefit the game very much because it does have a lot of RPG elements. You can play it in small spurts. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm going to get that probably this week. And Starlink, you know, if you like the premise of like space exploration, right, in an open world environment with some real-time strategy elements and combat and sort of, you know, kind of an immersive story with some Star Fox elements, right? Don't buy it just for the Star Fox stuff. it probably is going to be a pretty good deal for you. This is all based off of what we've been hearing, right? I'm just kind of regurgitating information here. I haven't played the game myself, but yeah.
Yeah. I think if you were to say right now, just like point a gun at me and be like, hey, which one are you going to buy? I'd be like, I'm going to buy Starlink. Because that one actually interests me a lot. Like, I think it could be really fun. I think Dark Souls could be interesting. I think I could like it, but I'm not sure. Like, Starlink, I know I'll enjoy it at least, like, a bit. Like, will it be an amazing game? Probably not, but it will probably be at least a good game that I'll enjoy and I'll play all the way through. And, you know, I'll be like, I'm glad I bought this. I'm not sure if I'll be glad I bought Dark Souls or not. There's a possibility I'll really like it. There's a possibility I'll be like, eh.
Yeah. I'm just looking at a couple questions here. Well, Julio Torres is saying 3 games he wish that were brought to Switch are Boruto, Jump Force, and Spider-Man. Spider-Man will never happen. Not the current Spider-Man, because, you know, Sony has a deal going on there. But Jump Force...
Spider-Man.
I think Jump Force is running with the Unreal Engine, right?
It is? It is, yes.
It is? It is? Okay. It is as a declaration or a question?
It is, as a declaration.
Okay. Alright, so yeah.
I know it is.
That might open up the door for Jump Force coming out like a year later on Nintendo Switch, right? So maybe 2020 January, right? Or maybe 2019 holiday. That could happen. Like Dragon Ball FighterZ actually came out the beginning of this year on the other consoles, but then towards the, you know, like maybe 6-8 months later we got it on Nintendo Switch. So, you know, there could be that kind of turnaround for Jump Force on the Switch, but Jump Force is, I feel like Jump Force is a much more graphically demanding game than Dragon Ball FighterZ. So I'm not saying it can't happen, but I do feel like it might be a bit more work. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not gonna count it out entirely.
Panic Button could do it.
I haven't seen the Boruto game yet, but you know it's a licensed Naruto Shonen Jump kind of game, so normally those kinds of games aren't too hard to get running on other kinds of platforms. So I wouldn't be shocked if it does come around at some point. Oh, also Sean gave me a good idea because he's been doing it with his own stuff. Monolith 64, check out his channel, guys, if you haven't seen it before. But he brought up the point that maybe we should put the podcast like on iTunes or other different kinds of like actual podcast sites. So might be doing that soon, but I don't think it'll be this one unless I retroactively do it because I did not set any of that up. But yeah,
I don't know how to do any of that. Like, do you have to pay for iTunes? Like, I don't even know. Well,
Sean was telling me about using this site called Podbean, which I think, from what I heard, it's like a site that you can get. You register like a URL, and then you can, through that, you can send your actual podcast to different podcast viewing apps and sites. So that's all I know for now. I haven't really looked into it too much yet, but yeah, that may be happening soon, guys. So stay tuned. But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic, unless there's anything else you guys want to add in reference to Dark Souls or Starlink. So, did you hear about this, Brandon, the Animal Crossing trademark that was made?
I did hear about it, yes.
So, what are your thoughts on that? I don't remember. It was a trademark was made for like the alternate naming for Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah,
now we already know about Animal Crossing Switch, right? So this isn't like this isn't hinting about Animal Crossing Switch that's coming in 2019. I think it's something else. But I wonder if it's maybe like
name for city folk.
Right. Yeah. Why is that happening? What do you think?
That's interesting. I think it's the European name, if I'm not mistaken. So the European
The thing is, I don't remember the name by heart, so that's why I'm
like into
confused.
the city or something, going in the city, something like that.
Give me a second. I'm gonna look it up.
Alright, but yeah, I honestly think that it's probably just them renewing the license, or possibly I've heard some people say that maybe it's going to the NVIDIA Shield in China. But I don't think it has anything to do with the new game, so I don't see how it would.
Right, I actually kind of see the possibility of it. Just for the record, the name is Let's Go to the City. Animal Crossing Let's Go to the City. That's the name of it. Yeah, it's the alternate name. Is that like the European version? Right?
Maybe. I would assume so, but I don't have concrete information on that.
Okay. In North America, it's called Animal Crossing City Folk, but basically, yes, it's the alternate name for the Wii version. I kind of side with you, Brandon. I think it's more likely that this trademark is maybe preparation for it to come to the NVIDIA Shield in China. Yeah, that's what I think could be happening. I mean, it's possible that maybe it's preparation for Wii Virtual Console. Actually, Wii Virtual Console would probably be easier to pull off on the Switch rather than GameCube Virtual Console, because the Switch can easily...
Would it?
Yeah, well, I mean, just in terms of, like, controls, because the Switch can do everything that the previous... the Wii could, right? But the GameCube is a different issue because it has those analog triggers, and there's no normal way to simulate that on the Nintendo Switch.
Which I don't understand. Nintendo, why did you not put analog triggers? Makes no sense. They'd be tripping.
Yeah, but definitely I feel like the Shield thing makes the most sense, especially since we have no information about Virtual Console yet, right? So, you know, I feel like, you know, this trademark is not necessarily for that, so. Oh, look at that! Nerdy Cabana just donated $5 through the Super Chat. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Wow, super cool. So, but, I mean, yeah. Animal Crossing, City Folk, or Let's Go to the City, that's probably just going to come to the NVIDIA Shield sometime in the future. Yeah, I think that's, if anything, that's that trademark suggests.
It would make sense for it to be that name, because it's the... I believe it's the overseas name, so that would make sense. I think it's only called City Folk in like a few places, actually, like North America, and I think a lot of different overseas places have less called the city, from what I've heard. So that makes sense since going to China. Of course, that's not completely like, I don't know if that's 100% true, but I think that's how that works. So it would make sense to me.
Yeah, no.
If that's the overseas name, then it would make sense since it's going to, if it's going to China.
Actually, that makes sense. Actually, I just kind of, it fully registered in my head. It took me a moment. Yeah, no, I'm in 100% full agreement with you. I think that's what it is, especially because if it was like a Virtual Console thing, I mean, it could have been Virtual Console in Europe, right? But the fact that it's not City Folk, I think, is more indicative that it is an NVIDIA Shield thing, like you said. So, yeah, that's probably what it is. So, I guess, you know, no one needs to get too excited. This trademark isn't necessarily... It doesn't mean anything for us unless you somehow import an NVIDIA Shield.
Yep.
Actually, that might be an interesting idea. But, whatever. So, let's move forward. But, yes, I will be buying a house with the most recent Super Chat from Nerdy Cabana. So yes, I will be creating a new set in my new house very soon. Stay tuned.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's move on. I think that was a pretty quick topic. We don't really need to say much more on it. Like I said, this week's been a little slow news-wise, but there's some interesting stuff to still talk about. That we're getting into the nitty-gritty here. So there have been a few images that have come out, and they I'll just kind of put them all on screen here for you guys, like, just kind of randomly cover different parts of the screen, because why not? Like, yeah, there is, you know, these are the images that have come out, that are perhaps
I haven't seen all of these.
Yeah, these are perhaps leaked images for the N64 Classic. And my thoughts on it are, okay, it looks like an N64, as the N64 Classic should. The one thing that kind of looks weird to me, right, is the bottom picture I put up there, right? If you look at the controller sock, I don't see how that possibly fits and makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't get it. Huh.
Because there's no way that gray thing goes all the way in, right?
No. Yeah.
I don't get that.
Maybe you're supposed to pull it out. Like, you're supposed to pull it out.
Maybe it does fit in all the way, and I'm just wrong.
I'm thinking, no. Maybe you're supposed to, because, like, maybe you're supposed to pull that front panel off and just plug your controllers in like that. Like, you're just supposed to have that on. Like,
so you're saying that the front part is okay. So the front part is just an aesthetic, and then
you pull it out and you plug your controllers in.
That seems
because otherwise they'd have to change the ports to look different.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of it's just not appealing aesthetically.
Yeah, not while you're playing it, but
yeah.
I mean, it look real when you have it closed. as you can see in like the top picture.
The other thing is that memory expansion thing looks like an actual thing you can open up.
Maybe you can, but there's nothing there. It's just like empty.
What if it was like a Jack in the Box and like a Mario came out?
That'd be hilarious.
I don't know what they would do about that, actually. I feel like...
There's like an actual, like, it looks like on the top you can see like the part where you plug the cartridge in. I wonder if it actually like moves. Maybe it's like supposed to be like a real like shell, like the buttons and stuff like that, and the things actually work, but they don't do anything. Obviously, the reset button I think would take you back to like the main menu or something.
Yeah, I don't know. So this is what I'm gonna do because I'm not gonna have all these images up.
I mean, I don't see why not. Makes it look more authentic. Instead of having like a sticker that says memory expansion, that'd be kind of lame.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it looks like an N64. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where, like, when the N64 Classic does come, because I do think it's an eventuality, it's going to look like an N64. I am curious how they are going to, like you said, how they're going to handle the cartridge slot, how they're going to handle the memory expansion slot, how they're going to handle the bottom with that extra piece that was supposed to be meant for the 64DD as well. These are all things that I wonder how they'll handle with this eventual N64 Classic. And just in case you guys like are doubting there's going to be an N64 Classic, a couple things to maybe take into consideration before you make your mind up on that. One, there have been patents floating around about an N64 Classic for quite some time, including the controller, and recently one was just like recently approved, even though it's been kind of filed for a while already. Also, Nintendo came out with the NES 2 years ago, the SNES a year ago, right? And Sony recently came out with the PS1, which doesn't necessarily mean that Nintendo's doing it because they're in the competition, but if you normally, you know, companies kind of do things, they understand where the other companies are at, right? Like, there's a reason why generations are usually kind of aligned, right? Like for example, Sony and Microsoft, they know when they're coming out with their next generation console for the most part. Nintendo also knows, and sometimes that's maybe why they'll come out with like some sort of revision next year. So I think, you know, Sony's trying to get the jump on Nintendo and getting their PS1 Classic out sooner, right? Which is why we're seeing it now. So there's that to take into consideration. Another thing, we haven't seen any updates on a real virtual console, right? And I think one of the main reasons for that is because Nintendo's really cashing in on all these different classic systems. So, you know, there's probably an N64 Classic coming really soon. My bet is first half of 2019.
That makes sense.
I mean, I want to look into when they normally announce when they announce the previous classic systems to when they came out. I don't think there's that much time. So do you think it's possible that we can still get an N64 Classic this year?
No. I feel like if they're gonna do it holiday, most people are buying Christmas presents now or already. So I mean, if it's cheap, they could slot that in there. But a lot of people are already planning presents and stuff. So I would have already announced it. I mean, it's 2 months till Christmas.
Let's see if Google can help us with this question, though. SNES Classic.
Google knows all.
Announcement date.
Google tells facts.
Okay. No. This does not help me. Right, actually, it does help me. It does help me because it says that the Super Nintendo Classic came out September 29th. Is that right?
I guess. I think that's about the time, yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, yeah, alright, so, I mean, that gives us enough alone, because we're already past that time this year, right? So, there you go, you know, so I think that alone kind of tells us that maybe we shouldn't expect it this year. Maybe we could expect it September next year. Actually, let's take a look when the NES Classic was announced, or when it was released, actually. November 2016. Interesting. So
it's definitely true. I don't think they could release in November. Announce it now. Yes, they could.
No, they could, but I don't think they would.
No,
I think it's too late. Like you said, we're getting into the holiday seasons now. I think it'd make more sense for it to be a next year thing. But it could be like a first half of 2019 thing at some point, you know, between let's say that at some point between March and September, we could maybe see an N64 Classic. That's where I'm sort of maybe guessing we'll see an announcement for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible they just release it September next year for the next year's holiday season.
True, they could do that. I think that would work, and there would be quite a bit of time between it and the PlayStation 1 Classic, so it's not like they would be affecting each other's sales or anything like that. It would just be, you know, two separate things, and it'll be fine. I realized, Brandon, that you and I are both recording a video about the N64 Classic, and they both may come out tomorrow, and they may be very similar. So, you know, if Brandon and I both come out with a video that's very similar tomorrow, it was not intentional. It was purely by accident, but probably kind of spurred by these recent leaks, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, I don't really want to get into our list because our videos are basically going to cover our actual specific list for N64 Classic. But let's talk about maybe some other features we could see. Or you want to do that at least?
Yeah, that'll work. Okay. I don't really talk about other features, mostly just the game and the video.
Right. So I think the N64 Classic is going to be upscaled to 4K. It's going to have online play, downloadable content, and it's going to come with ROM.
Sure.
Okay,
but you're going to have to buy the memory expansion pack to play some of the games. That's why it's openable.
Yes, absolutely. Joking aside, I think one of the things kind of going into N64 Classic is that don't expect a whole bunch of rare games. I could see Nintendo maybe striking up a deal with Microsoft to have a couple of them on there, but most of them won't be on there. Even though I feel like if, you know, rights weren't an issue, right, then like there should be 7 or 8 Rare games on there. But because of the fact that Rare now belongs with Microsoft, we'll be lucky if we can get 1 or 2. So, you know, that's one thing they should probably sort of go into with your expectations for an N64 Classic. Another thing that we should take into consideration, though, is the fact that N64 was all about multiplayer, right? Like, that was one, aside from, you know, awesome 3D graphics and sort of taking into more of a the 64-bit era, right? The N64, one of its bigger innovations was supporting 4-player multiplayer out of the box, right? Well, you would have to buy additional controllers, but you know what I mean. It had four sockets, and a lot of the games were centered around 4-player multiplayer. Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, Mario Party. Like, there's so many different games that had 4-player split screen, right? 4-player split screen became a big deal then. GoldenEye was huge. Like, that was the beginning, like, of so many epic things. Like, so I'm pretty sure, well, I don't think every single game in N64 Classic is going to be multiplayer. I feel like at least half of them are going to be games that support multiplayer, like split screen multiplayer, and you will be able to get four controllers for the N64 Classic. I don't think they'll sell all 4 in the box. I wish they would. Two. I think 2, but they'll probably have like a $20 package where you can buy 2 more.
That's fair.
Yeah.
20, maybe 30. I don't know. Something likes to price their stuff pretty high, so maybe 30 for 2. Speaking
of price, actually, what do you think it'll be priced at? The Super Nintendo Classic was $80. I do not think the Nintendo 64 Classic is going to be $80. I think it's going to be more expensive. I was thinking $100.
I was thinking $100 as well.
And I think it's
maybe they would go with 4 controllers, because they upped the controller count for SNES to make the pricing look better. Maybe they would come up with 4 controllers because it's $100 or 3. I don't know. That'd be weird if they came up with 3.
3 is not gonna happen. Not 3.
That would be weird.
It'd be weird. It's maybe. I like the idea of 4, but I just don't. It just seems like I want that to be a reality. Ooh.
It's hard to say, because I didn't think the SNES was going to come with 2 controllers, but it
did. I had another crazy idea at one point when I was speculating about it, and it's crazy. I just want to put emphasis on crazy, right? What if the N64 Classic doesn't have that many games? Maybe it only has 15 games, and it only comes with 2 controllers, but it has online play.
That would be very nice. Is that going to happen?
No, it's not going to
happen.
But like, if you look at what they're doing with
Nintendo's
online service and how the NES games are multiplayer, right? I don't think it's like, it's crazy, it's not gonna happen, but it's not impossible. You know, they could. Nah, it's not gonna. I'm sorry I even brought it up. It's like so unlikely, but it would be kind of an interesting thing they could do because the N64 Classic is all about multiplayer. You know, it's more likely that they'll have 4 controllers in the box. That makes more sense. So, but I feel like I'm gonna still go with 2. Like, I've had to make a prediction. I'm gonna go with 2, but you'll be able to buy 2 more. In a package for, I was gonna say $20, but yeah.
I would hope it'd be $20, but knowing Nintendo, probably like $30, $40 because they're ridiculous.
Well, I mean,
weren't the NES controllers like $15 a piece?
Really? Is it that expensive?
I think they were. They weren't that. Maybe they were $10, but I don't know. I feel like they were 15, 20.
SNES Classic.
I feel like it's something Nintendo would do.
Controller. $10,000.
$10,000. Yes.
No. It's well, on Amazon. It's not available.
Oh.
Just want a price. Why can't I find a price?
NES controllers. NES Classic.
I don't know. I can't find a price on it. What's wrong with me?
Oh, they're $10 for the classic, the NES Classic controller. So yeah, 20 sounds right.
I don't think 20. I don't think 20 is too crazy to think.
No.
So, yeah.
See, that's how much I'd be willing to pay. I was just wondering if that's how much Nintendo expected me to pay, because they can get crazy with their stuff. So.
Yeah. So I would predict that the system would be $100 and only 2 controllers in the box, but. Because it's going to be $100, there will be 20 games. They will maintain the number from the Super Nintendo Classic. Originally, I was thinking 15, but when I was thinking about the pricing and how they would probably scale up the pricing, I think that they'll actually hit the 20 games, especially since PlayStation 1 Classic is going to have 20 games, and because there's competition, Nintendo doesn't want to look bad, right? So they'll come out with 20 games, but it will be $100, and you'll have to buy the additional 2 controllers separately. So if you really want the full-on Super Nintendo Classic experience, I mean, not Super Nintendo, the N64 Classic experience, it'll be $120, but you will get 20 games. Maybe they'll somehow shove in a 20+1 bonus game, and you can have 4 controllers if you spend an extra $20. But do you think they'll have an assortment of colors, or is that way too much to expect? It's just all gonna be standard gray.
No, then I could have an assortment of colors.
It'd be too much.
That's too much.
But it's kind of it was one of the things about the N64, though. You know what I mean? Like, there were so many different colored controllers, so many different colored systems. It would be great if they could. Maybe I should just go back to the 90s, where you could just or maybe I should collect different N64 systems and controllers. Yeah, so I think it's more reasonable to expect just gray N64 controllers, just the base normal black system, and that's it.
Honestly, that's my preferred system.
Well,
I was never
see-through ones are so cool though.
I don't like see-through controllers. They don't look cool.
You have bad taste.
I don't understand why people like them at all.
Yeah. Because you could see through them.
But what you see doesn't look cool. Yes, it looks like messy and
well, I mean, it's not a thing they really do anymore, right? So. Oh, actually, I take that back.
I had them when I was young.
The controller is a little bit see-through.
It's true.
That is
Which is why I saw that and I was like, oh god, why?
It's a beautiful controller.
Love the Pro controller. Because it's barely see-through. It's like it hangs.
It's a bit more subtle. That is true. So yeah, I think the reasonable thing to expect is just gray N64 controllers, basic black system, and we both agree $100. I'm saying 20 with the controllers. Are you still siding with 30?
Yeah, probably 20.
Okay.
It's the NES Classic.
But how do you feel on the games though, right? Because originally I was thinking they would go even. Because originally they had 30 on the NES Classic. Then on the SNES they went to 21. So they dropped 9 games. On the N64, which is gonna have 3D games, right? Are they going to lower that amount?
I don't think so. I don't think they can sell you an N64 Classic with like 10, 15 games. That's just, why would you buy that for $100? That's just not enough. That would be ridiculous. I would not buy that. Unless it had like every game I wanted, and then I'd buy it.
Well, the thing is, that's impossible.
Inevitably, there's going to be games you don't like that much. It's going to be less than that you actually care about. There's no way they're going to come up and be like, hey, here's 12 games in the N64 Classic. Here you go, like $100. No. They wouldn't do that.
Oof. Right.
It'd have to be like 20.
Yeah.
I mean, they are bigger in space. I mean, the rights to a 3D game versus the rights to an NES, like, SNES game, I don't think they're any different. I think they're the same price. So that way you don't have to pay for anything more. All you really have to pay more is for extra storage space, because it may be a slightly better setup.
Is it going to get more expensive to make this system? Like, do they have to change the innards for the, because I know that the Super Nintendo Classic is basically the same as the NES Classic, right? They didn't change too much. Do they have to do more significant changes for the N64 Classic? Because I know people hacked into it and they tried to get N64 games running on the Super Nintendo Classic, but it ran, but the frame rate was like 4. Like, so...
right, yeah, they'd have to change it. Especially if they want to upscale to like 1080p, like the NES and SNES games are at 1080p.
Yeah, to make them look nicer.
Then I mean, it wouldn't have to be anything ridiculous, but it'd have to be something a little bit better.
You know what's the other thing to take into consideration? Frame rate. Because on the N64, it wasn't like games ran at a smooth 30 frames per second. They were slower than that. I think Ocarina of Time was actually running at 20 frames per second on the N64.
Yeah, it's like 20, 25.
Ocarina of Time frame rate.
Frame rates on N64 were garbage, but I somehow I never noticed. Today,
well, as a kid, it was just like, normal.
I'll drop like 2 frames and I'll be like, oh. But when I was young, I would just like drops like 10 frames and like, what's frame rate mean? Oh, yeah. I'm a kid.
No, see,
I just like my Mario Kart. Oh.
It was 20 frames per second, which is insane.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I
think it would run at 30. I think everything would run at a smooth 30 or 60.
So that's another bump right there, right? We get all the N64 games will probably be brought to 30 frames per second. What if they put some at... Actually, what did Super Smash Bros. 64 run at? That's an interesting question, because we know Smash, as of Melee, for sure was 60 frames per second, but what about Super Smash Bros. 64? I'm really curious about that, because I know frame rate kind of really matters for fighting games. Apparently... it ran at 60 frames per second. No. Really? What?
I mean, it makes sense, I guess.
There's nothing here that's really... No, I don't see anything conclusive about that.
It was at least a smooth 30 frames per second. Nerdy Cabana says 60 FPS. I would imagine 60 frames. I mean, Smash was kind of like very small stages back then. Like, there wasn't much going on. I could see it hitting 60.
Okay, apparently I know every Smash game since Melee is 60 FPS. I'm just curious about the 64 version. Okay, apparently it does run at 60. Okay, interesting. Alright, so, that'll run at 60. So maybe, maybe they won't change the frame rate for Ocarina of Time. I feel like they have. I don't. Whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna be a locked, solid frame rate on the N64 Classic.
If it was targeting, under 30, it's gonna be locked to 30. If it's targeting around 60, it's gonna be locked to 60. There's no way they're gonna lock it it's smooth, locked 20 frames per second. Like that.
Yeah. So whatever frame rate the target was, at the very least, expect that smoothed up, and maybe for the games that were under 30, they'll be pushed up to 30. I guess an interesting point would be to look at the Wii U emulation for a lot of these games and see how they ran on that. But I would have to go back and look. But basically, I would expect all the games are going to run 100% smooth. They're going to look better because they're going to be upscaled. And I guess 20 games we're kind of siding with here.
Right.
And I don't want to get into the actual game lists because literally what our videos are going to be about tomorrow. But I mean, I don't want to not mention anything, but I think the obvious ones are going to be there, right? Like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Mario 64, Smash, Mario Kart 64, those are a given. I feel like F-Zero and Wave Race probably will happen. they're gonna want to get a few RPGs on there, so maybe
Right.
Paper Mario and Ogre Battle 64.
Oh, I didn't even think about Ogre Battle.
Yeah. I don't think the sports titles are gonna be put on the system. I think
Probably not.
there'll probably only be one Pokemon game. Not. I would prefer if they were to put Pokemon Stadium 1, 2, and Snap, but I think that's not likely. So, you know, just, you know, some ideas there. I think Nintendo is going to strike up a deal with Microsoft and get a couple rare games on there.
Yeah.
Basically the really big ones. Like the really, really big ones. So, Banjo, GoldenEye. But aside from that, you know, I don't think there'll be anything else. I think Donkey Kong 64 is also still developed by Rare, but it's a Nintendo IP, so I wouldn't be too worried about getting Donkey Kong 64 on there. But maybe Nintendo won't want to put Donkey Kong 64 because it's wasn't rated very well. But I mean, I love Donkey Kong 64. I feel like it deserves to be on there. Yeah.
I mean, they had it on the Wii U eShop, so why not?
Right, and it's also it's got multiplayer and stuff, so it kind of would fit really well. I think Kirby is definitely gonna be there. But yeah, let's unless there's anything else you want to add in terms of maybe games we could see branded, I think we should move
I was
forward.
gonna point out that they might not have to change the board, honestly, just because from what I hear, emulation on N64 is like really bad. It's kind of like trying to emulate the Super FX chip. Like, it's not good. Like, nothing runs well on the emulators. So a lot of people putting the normal emulators onto the SNES Classic boards and stuff and trying to get them to run might not be a very good representation of what Nintendo would actually, how it would run for them. So, because they know the ins and outs. I mean, they got the Super FX chips to run perfectly on the SNES Classic. So I would imagine it would run a lot better. So there's a possibility they could still get the N64 emulation with the same board. Maybe not, but it's possible.
I mean, whatever it is, like, I can't imagine that the research and development for this is going to be... We had to put all of our greatest minds in the company and worked years to finally get the N64 to run in the modern era. Like, right. No, I think... I mean, they might have to do some... You know, actually, you're right. It probably... Whatever they have to do to make it run N64 games has to be relatively minimal. So they don't have to, like, come up with a whole different company and deal to create different architecture, right? Like, it probably just some minor stuff is all they need to do to make it run. So maybe the research and development won't cost that much, so that won't be what really pushes Nintendo to up the price. But I think getting the games there from the N64 on there, considering that they might have to strike a deal with Microsoft and Rare, I think then, you know, when you take that into consideration, $100 still seems more fair. But... yeah, so I think I want this. I want this more than any other classic. So hopefully we get an announcement. I don't think we'll get an announcement this year at this point, if it's not coming this year. I think it's going to be one of those things where they'll announce it a month or two in advance, and that's it. So we'll see. Probably sometime next year. But let's see what you guys think in the chat before we move on to the next topic, unless there's anything else you want to add, Brandon.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, see what you guys are saying.
Julio asks if Coliseum was on the N64, and I think no, that was on the GameCube,
right? No, that's a GameCube game. Yeah, GameCube game. Apply for Nintendo. Yeah, let's all apply for Nintendo. Yeah, I've heard. Oh wow, that'd be amazing. So Zach is back. Just said Earthbound 64. So actually, that's an interesting thing. We didn't talk about, like, the potential bonus games, right? Like, we're not talking about our list here, so I feel like it's still fair to talk about this, right? Right. So Earthbound 64 never happened. It was canceled, and whatever it was basically turned into Mother 3 that came on the Game Boy Advance, which still hasn't been localized in America. But that's whatever. We're not going to get into that, and we're not going to open up that can of worms. But so the idea of them maybe taking Earthbound 64 and launching it on the N64 Classic would break boundaries and worlds and universes beyond normal. It would just... The internet would really shut down for 10 years.
I almost don't want it because I know I'll never be able to find an N64 Classic.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. Mainly because Earthbound 64 was canceled for a reason. They couldn't really get it to work, so they will have to go back and recreate it. They never finished that game, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Star
It's not
Fox,
like Star Fox 2.
that game was completed.
The only reason they put it out because Star Fox 64 was, the N64 was coming out. They wanted Star Fox 64. Why would you get Star Fox 2 if Star Fox 64 is coming out? Like, there's no reason.
Yeah, it was pulled. It was pulled more for marketing reasons more than anything else. So the game was done. So yeah, that's why we were able to get Star Fox 2 on the SNES Classic. Earthbound 64, as amazing as that would be, it's not going to be on the N64 Classic.
No.
But there's a couple games that I think they could be put on the N64 Classic. They would be kind of like that +1 bonus game. One option is Sin and Punishment. It's a game that was not localized in North America and on the N64, and it's kind of a popular game. Well, it has like a cult following, I mean. And so that's one game they may put on the N64 Classic that some people would find really interesting. It was brought onto the Virtual Console, right, in America. So that was kind of like a big thing then when that happened. So that could be an option.
Right.
The other option would be, as someone else mentioned, and I saw, who was it? I saw someone mention it.
Which game was it?
I'm going to Control F. I'm going to Control F the chat. Master Quest. Vilbeard. There you go. Vilbeard said Master Quest for N64 Classic. He wants to believe. I also want to believe.
Yeah.
I think that would be the game. That if they want to have like that +1 bonus game to get people really into it, maybe bring out the one problem with having the Master Quest version on 64 would be that they already came out with Master Quest, so yeah, they could have Master Quest available. Yeah, they could do that because they had the disc that had it already. I was just thinking like the early versions of the 64 DD project that had like additional dungeons and maps like that. If they had that in there,
yes, please.
I can't even speak.
I would. Oh my gosh, I'd buy it.
That'd be crazy. But I think just the Master Quest that came out on that collector's disc, as like a pre-launch sort of item for the GameCube or something. It was something like that, right? Like that, I think could work for sure.
Why did they not ever release these dungeon things? Do you know the story on that? Because I never heard about that.
Well, it was development. It was stuff that was in development. And a lot of those ideas were eventually carried over into different Zelda games in the future. So it's not like we didn't really see any of it ever. It was just changed up, and the idea was reused elsewhere. But like, for example, I think there was going to be a Wind Dungeon and an Earth Dungeon, which I guess we got an Earth and Wind Dungeon in Wind Waker, right? So, there's that. There's also there's supposed to be like this unicorn fairy fountain somewhere in Ocarina of Time as well. So there's some interesting stuff that was going on with the development for Ocarina of Time and the 64 DD.
It's not going to be sad if we don't get that.
It's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to. Not that. Maybe Master Quest, though. But that's a game that's already been made available to the public, so it's not as big of a deal as Star Fox 2 was. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, even the Ocarina of Time 3D has Master Quest.
Yeah, right. So
like every version now has it,
but
pretty much.
It would be, I think they're going to do something like that. Maybe if I think the best case scenario is that they actually do pull out this Zelda Eura or whatever it is that has like this additional content. More likely scenario, we can maybe get Master Quest or Sin and Punishment, maybe both. Actually, I think if anything, the big deal would not even be that. It would be getting the rare games, GoldenEye and Banjo-Kazooie on the system.
Just give me as many rare games as possible.
Well, it would be crazy if they were just completely shoot our expectations out the window and be like, hey, this is actually half the system is rare games. So you can get Conker's Bad Fur Day, Jet Force Gemini, Perfect Dark, Killer Instinct, Banjo-Tooie, like... That would be, surreal. But that won't happen, so don't expect that, guys. But it'd be really fun. It's fun to think about it. Yeah. Robeer has noticed the Golden Sun music in the background. I'm glad you appreciate it, man.
I wish I could hear it. Oh, man. Sucks to be...
Sucks to be a guest. Yeah.
Right. It sucks to be the only one who can't hear the music.
What I could do is I could send you the music file, and you could just
It's
listen to it to yourself. So you're still hearing the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, there are so many good Rare games, but there's no way we see all of them on the system. Yeah, but you know, since we're talking about Banjo and stuff, I guess this is a good segue to kind of move into the next topic, and that's a topic of Banjo Threeie. So Banjo Threeie is not necessarily a real game. It could become one day. It may be in development. And that's the point of this topic. There's been some information coming out. It's mostly speculation. Don't get too overly excited about this. You know, there's something that Source Gaming likes to say, hype responsibly. So yeah, hype responsibly. But there's some speculation going around that suggests that maybe Banjo Threeie is in the works and could get announced. So I'm just gonna kind of go over this Twitter exchange thing. Let me see, where was it? I lost it. Jeez, I'm so prepared. So prepared. Can I do a window share? Yeah, I could do that. So, let me see. How do I get... I got it. There we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I can do this.
We have the technology.
I have the technology. Okay, here we go. I got it. So, let me know if that's visible for you guys. Right?
Wait, no.
Yeah, you guys can see. You guys can see it. So, here is this tweet that sort of kind of summarized a whole bunch of stuff that was sort of pulling all the pieces together about maybe Banjo happening, right? Also notice his hashtag Banjo for Smash, which is another talk about we'll talk about in a moment. But so basically there's a few different things that are going on in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, a game that we don't really like thinking about, but it is a game that happened. At the end of the game, there is this quote, and he says it right here: "Will anyone remember this game in a decade? Come back in 2018 and find out." Right, that was in Nuts and Bolts, and then the Nuts and Bolts released on November 12th, and then Xbox has recently announced an Xbox event for November 10th, 2018. Also, Rare is launching, has their online launching really soon as well. So things are happening with Rare. Xbox has announced an event that kind of coincides with maybe a 10-year anniversary of Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and there was that thing. And then apparently a developer on Rare, right, has put on some interesting stuff. Battletoads, Donkey Kong, Banjo-Kazooie, the Pinata, Sea of Thieves, Banjo Threeie, really? Banjo Threeie? Are you serious? So, you know, kind of a, supposedly just a joke, right? Like, even you have Rare here, like, what? What are you doing, Paul? But, so he said that he was working on Banjo Threeie, or that he worked on it. But supposedly it was just a joke, right?
Yeah, Rare response.
Yeah. But, I mean, yeah, so Microsoft has an event happening, and on top of that, there's been a lot of merchandising coming out for Banjo-Kazooie this year, right? So, like, this is some examples of that right there. Even Conquer is also there. So, you know, Microsoft has been marketing the Rare stuff a bit more this year, and there is an anniversary thing. And so, you know, the speculation is like, oh, Banjo 3, will it happen? I think none of this is even close to confirmation. That's just the straight up truth. I'm gonna now exit this so you guys can see us talk about it. But yeah, I don't think this means Banjo 3 is happening. Unfortunately, if you guys disagree, let me know in the chat. We'll talk about it. But I just think this is just too many. This is just pulling at straws here, right? But that doesn't mean I don't think it won't never happen. It may even still be in development. I just don't think this information here means it's happening. If it's happening, it's going to be happening regardless. But what do you think, Brandon? Do you think this maybe means Banjo 3? What's your stance on it?
I just don't understand. I don't think the Nuts and Bolts thing means anything. Why would it? Why would they purposely be like, okay, we're gonna make a new game, but we're gonna announce it 10 years? Like, what sense does that make? What sense that we're gonna make a sequel, guys, but don't worry, we're gonna wait 10 years. Like, what? Why would you do such a thing? That'd be so weird.
Well, the Rare team is known for their personality in their games and their quirky humor and their sarcasm and moronic jokes and such, and being ironic. So, you know, I don't know. I don't really think Well, first of all, this is a Nintendo channel, right? So, just want to specify,
Right.
Banjo Threeie, while it may be related to Nintendo because of the history, probably not going to be on Nintendo Switch, right? If it comes out anytime soon. It's going to be a Microsoft thing. It's going to be exclusive to Microsoft. So, it's only going to be available on probably PC and Xbox. So, yeah, just putting that out there. But nevertheless, you know, as fans of the N64 era of Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo Tooie, right, it would be nice to see Banjo Threeie.
Right.
So, you know, maybe it'll happen. I think it's going to happen eventually because it's a powerful IP. So, and it kind of... It's also interesting because Nintendo and Microsoft have been working better together, right? So, my dream situation, this is not going to happen. Right, just want to point that out there. But my dream situation is that Nintendo and Microsoft's relationship gets so strong that they start working even closer together to the point where we start, maybe they even help out with development and stuff. And by doing that, they help out with development, the games get better, but also Microsoft allows these IP to be available on not just Microsoft platforms, but also Nintendo platforms. Right. Which would mean the return of rare games to Nintendo systems, and they'd be better since Nintendo would help out a little bit. And it would work out for both parties, because the games would be better, they would sell better, Microsoft would make money, and Nintendo would also make money because all these games would be on their systems as well. Will that happen? Hell no. But I want it to happen, right?
Right.
I want it to happen. So, you know, but...
I mean, they could work out a deal, it's possible, especially if Nintendo paid them money, or... Nintendo puts Banjo and Smash, and they're like, well, we don't want to be advertising your game by putting Banjo and Smash, so how about we put that on our system as well, or something like that. I mean, because think about, like, Nintendo isn't going to be like, Banjo Threeie's around the corner, so let's put Banjo and Smash so we can sell Microsoft a bunch of systems. Like, no, that doesn't sound right.
No, but, it's also kind of one of the reasons why I think if Banjo-Kazooie makes him to Smash Brothers, as much as I want him in the base roster, he might make more sense as a DLC character, because while he would make money for Microsoft, because putting him being in Smash would represent that franchise, get people talking more about it, and if there is a Banjo Threeie game, or if people want to buy Rare Replay, they can do that, and it'll make sense for Microsoft from a marketing perspective. However, if he's a DLC character, people will buy him, and Nintendo would make additional money for that, right? If Banjo's in Smash, people are going to buy Smash regardless, you know what I mean? Right? Banjo or not, people are buying Smash Brothers. Maybe a few more people buy it for Banjo, maybe, right? Like the Microsoft fans are like, oh, Banjo, oh, maybe I should get it. Maybe that would happen, but I think having him as DLC, people will buy the DLC, and that's more money going to both Nintendo and Microsoft's pockets. So, kind of makes sense in that way. And I guess I'll just kind of cross out the Banjo Threeie topic and sort of transition to Banjo being back on Nintendo and Banjo for Smash Bros. Because it's kind of all related. But yeah, I do think that Banjo-Kazooie could be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. If you guys follow my channel, you may have seen my video, the argument for Banjo-Kazooie in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's done relatively well. It's like sitting at above 4,000 views. Like, I made that video before everyone else started making videos about Banjo-Kazooie the last 2 weeks. Just gonna point that out there. But whatever. You know, a lot of people are really excited about him making it to the game, and I think there's definitely reason for it. We've kind of mentioned it already. Microsoft and Nintendo have been working really well together. There is a huge history there, and you know, it makes a lot of sense. And if I personally would love it if Banjo were to be like the final climactic reveal for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think it would make so much sense. And if you think about Smash Bros. As the ultimate Smash Bros. Game representing the entire history of Nintendo and video gaming icons, Banjo and Kazooie kind of represent a pocket of time in Nintendo history that was kind of like a golden age in a little bit of a way, and for the 90s kids, right? So if somehow, you know, I think Sakurai noticed, he knows this, he's been considered for Smash Bros. Before, so, you know, if you were to get in there, he would be kind of hype like King K. Rool, right? Like Simon Belmont, but for like a kind of a different audience, but I'm still on that same level or magnitude, maybe greater. So there's a lot of reasons why Banjo-Kazooie wouldn't make sense for Smash Brothers. So I could see it happening. And if you want like my full argument on it, I'm put it on my channel, on the channel page. Just check it out if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I think there's a strong chance he could be in the game, and that's kind of one way Banjo could maybe return back to Nintendo. Another option is the N64 Classic, maybe both. And all of this would be great marketing for Microsoft if they are developing Banjo Threeie, and that kind of brings all the different topics we've been talking about full circle. We were talking about N64 Classic, the potential of Banjo being on there. We're talking about Banjo for Smash Brothers, and we're also talking about the potential for Banjo Threeie doing all this marketing for Banjo-Kazooie with all the toys and stuff. Right? If Banjo does make it into Smash Brothers, right? If Banjo does make it into N64 Classic, and if they are developing Banjo Threeie, all of this benefits both Nintendo and Microsoft greatly. So, could it happen? I see it happening. I like the idea of it. I don't know if Banjo Threeie is in development right now, but it could set that up for the future. It's like just the hype of Banjo-Kazooie and Smash Bros. Now could build an environment where Banjo Threeie will make sense for Microsoft going forward. I like the idea of that, but I've been kind of going off on just talking this whole time, Brandon. How about you sort of shed your own thoughts on this before I die?
First off, I'd like to point out that you said that Microsoft fans would buy Smash because Banjo. Nobody's a Microsoft fan because of Banjo,
right.
Let's be honest here. People are Nintendo fans look at Banjo. Microsoft fans would be like, what the fuck's Banjo? What is this Banjo? I don't know who this is. You mean that guy who had that one crappy game? Ah, whatever. That's what they would think. But I just thought that was funny because you were like, oh, the Microsoft people would buy. I'm like, no, that wouldn't happen. But yeah, I mean, I think if Microsoft released Banjo Threeie on the Xbox One and PC exclusively, I think a lot of Nintendo fans would be at least consider buying an Xbox One or buying it from the Windows Store. Like a lot of Nintendo fans would.
I mean, to be honest with you, all this talk of Banjo as of late, the lead up to Smash Brothers, the figures and such, that's making me talk about Banjo-Kazooie more, and I'm probably going to go and buy the Rare Replay now. Right? So that alone is making money for Microsoft. People like me are probably going to go ahead and buy Rare Replay.
Yeah, I might purchase it, yeah. Do they have it on the Windows Store? Because I don't really want to bust up my Xbox One for that.
I don't know.
Sure. I'd hope. But yeah, I mean, it's possible Nintendo pays money for that, because, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, Microsoft, would they be willing, though, to let Nintendo have it on their system? Because, let's be honest, if it's on the Switch and the Xbox One, people are going to get it on the Switch. People aren't going to get it. Like, some people will get in the Xbox One, but it's going to sell way better on the Switch. It's just, I think it would, at least. If it's a good Banjo game, I think it would sell a lot better on the Switch than the Xbox One. Just because a lot of Nintendo fans and the nostalgia and stuff. So maybe they wouldn't. But then again, like, they do crazy stuff like allow Minecraft on other systems. Even though if Minecraft was exclusive to the Xbox One, imagine the sales.
Yeah. I mean, I think so many people want this to happen. When you think about how many people are talking about it right now, right? You just think about how much people are talking about it right now. How much? Like, it's pretty big, right? So I think that alone kind of speaks for itself. You know what I mean? So I think I believe Banjo-Kazooie is going to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I believe it. Like, it just makes too much sense. I think it's going to happen, guys. I think it's going to happen. I think it makes sense for both parties. Now, will he be on the base roster? Also, maybe, because think about this. The people always talk about how the plans for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate were set into place back in 2015. Kind of true. I just want to point out that development's fluid and changes can happen throughout the course of development, even if there was a plan made back in 2015. But even then, you know, as the time of the Smash Ballot, Banjo-Kazooie was one of the really popular character in the Smash Ballot, right? And he's right up there with King K. Rool and Ridley and Isabelle. So, you know, it makes a lot of sense. And even then,
it needs to happen.
Nintendo and Microsoft's relationship was improving. You know, we had Minecraft on the Wii U and stuff. So, like, I think you know. Just gonna also want to point out one more thing, guys. Nintendo and Microsoft made a commercial together.
Right,
They made a commercial together. Think about that. They made it was a Minecraft commercial, which is also kind of arguing the point for me. Minecraft, Steven Smash Brothers. I don't want to get into that argument, but you know, they have a great relationship. It's the best relationship I've ever seen between two competitors. Like It's very.
They were almost like coming together to throw shade on Sony.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. I think it's part of it because both of them are second and third to Sony right now. So, you know, the positioning of the hierarchy, right, definitely is facilitating the relationship a little bit more.
Right.
So that makes sense. But nevertheless, I think the point still stands that right now the relationship is very strong, and they will use each other to you know, perform better. If it makes sense for both parties, why not do it? You know what I mean? So if Banjo and Smash Bros is gonna make money for both Nintendo and Microsoft, why wouldn't they do it?
Right.
So yeah, but I wonder what you guys in the chat are saying about this. I know a lot of you want Banjo and Smash as well. Yeah, King K. Rool was insane.
Yes. Oh, that was super hype.
Sabbath, did I say Minecraft?
Did
I might Hoff.
You mispronounced your own channel name in the beginning of the stream, so
I saw it on just restored.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to point out I worked 15 hours yesterday. Okay, I'm messed up. Not used to that. I am not used to that. So you know. Yeah. Counter. Oh, I love King K. Rool's counter as well. The whole gold belly thing, really, really cool. Yeah. Zach is back and saying, "Is Steve gone to Smash? Holy shit!" Right across the world. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about the whole Steve thing before. I know some people want him, so I'm not gonna shit on him. But I don't think it's. Even though there are some rumors, I don't think he's going to be in Smash Bros. I think there's a good chance of Minecraft content. I just think it makes more sense to represent Minecraft as a stage, because it's more about the world rather than the character. The same thing with Monster Hunter. I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan, and I'm actually happy there's not a Monster Hunter character in Smash Bros. I think it makes more sense to make, if they have a stage, cool, but it makes more sense to have the assist boss, because that's what Monster Hunter is about. It's about the monsters, right? So, you know, that's my take on it, but of course, you know, what Sakurai wants, that's what Sakurai wants. If he thinks Minecraft Steve makes sense, he makes sense. And he would be, if he did it, if he designed Minecraft Steve as a fighter, he would be probably really fun to play as. I mean, look at
There's no way that he would get in and not be good. Like,
yeah.
if he gets in, he's gonna be good. Because if he's not good, he's not gonna get in.
Yeah. good point. I thought Wii Fit Trainer would be weird as hell, but she's a really fun character.
Yeah, Duck Hunt, everyone was like, what the fuck?
I love Duck Hunt. Some people don't like Duck Hunt. I don't know what's wrong with these people.
I like his design. I don't personally like playing as him because he's kind of strange to play as, but I think he's fun to play as. He's just like, it's hard for me to get him, to learn him.
Well, one of the reasons I like him is that he is kind of like a trollsy kind of character, right? But, like, you can kind of mess with people's minds. Like, I love the can. Because the can's like getting shot at, and like and the thing is that when you're playing as Duck Hunt, you're not playing as one entity. You're playing as like 3 or 4 different entities at once, which is maybe one of the reasons why it's confusing. Because when you're kicking you're not kicking the can, right? One of the shooters is shooting the can across the screen, and it's not Duck Hunt. It's not the duck or the dog. So it's kind of interesting how that works, and you can also summon, you know, little guys to shoot around, and then of course you have the duck and the dog. So, you know, there's a lot going on there with that character, but I just think he's a fun character. I love his design. I love how like they modernized the design for Duck Hunt, and it's just such a cool character, and I love how he has this variety to his moveset. Personally, he's one of my favorite. Actually, might be my favorite Wii U base roster new character. I actually don't, even though I'm a huge Xenoblade fan, I don't like the way Shulk played in Wii U.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked him a lot, actually.
Well, I wanted to give it a try, but I always sucked. So maybe I didn't try enough. But I like what they did, what they've changed about Shulk, going to Smash Ultimate, how you can change everything more seamlessly. So that might help a little bit for my enjoyment of that character in Smash Ultimate. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
So, where are we in the topics? Oh, we're done.
But Nerdy just said he's a Toon Link player, and dude, Toon Link is the shit. Play Toon Link all the time. Toon Link main forever.
The interesting thing about Toon Link is that, like, he's kind of what you need Link to be, because Link is cool, but Link is slow, and Toon Link is not. So
especially his down air. Oh my gosh,
he's really. I love his down air because it's
like shoop.
Does his accelerate? His accelerates, right? They slowed down Adult Link, which I thought was dumb, because it was better in the older games. But it looks like everything in Smash is way faster in Smash Ultimate. So I'm hoping actual Adult Link is going to be good again. Was he ever good? I don't know if he was ever good, but
I don't know.
He definitely got worse, in my opinion. But I think now he might not be bad. So I don't care too much about the tier system in Smash Brothers, right? But there is sometimes like for example, a really good Falco Fox player can just ruin your day in Melee, right? So like, but you know, I think Smash Ultimate's gonna be even more balanced than Smash Wii U and 3DS, and I love how they sped everything up. I'm pretty excited about that. But let's actually talk. We're already talking about Smash Brothers, right? So let's talk about that last topic, which is about Smash Brothers, or rather lack thereof. So last week, right, we were talking about maybe seeing a Smash Direct, right? And we didn't get one. And I talked about at the beginning of the podcast how there were signs indicating that there would be some sort of Smash information, and we haven't gotten it yet. So then, I guess that raises the question. Will we still see Smash Bros. Content this month?
Right. I'd like to point out that I called it. I said didn't think there was going to be a Smash Direct, and there wasn't. So, yes, clap. Appreciate me.
The stance I'm doing though is that, you know, when in Smash Bros. When all the characters lose and they're standing in the background clapping.
Right.
Yeah. Just wanna, you know, I don't know if anyone picked up on that. I know it's like super.
I kind of did.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't think there was gonna be. It just didn't feel like it was time. I feel like they were gonna wait. I feel like it just came out, like I pointed out this last podcast, but it was like right after Sakura's like, guys, don't expect too many like random like announcements. Don't expect too many character announcements. Like, don't like spread apart. Like he was kind of saying that they were gonna he was kind of indicating they were kind of doing like one big finale instead of like a bunch of different little ones. So I was like, I don't think they would do like a Smash Direct in October. October doesn't feel like
especially immediately after that came out. That statement came out. Yeah.
So they felt like it wasn't gonna be like a huge Smash Direct, like a finale, and why would they have two ones? He just said they weren't really going to be doing a whole bunch of different ones, so it's like, I feel like they're going to do like one big one.
Right.
Maybe
yeah, my only prediction going into, well, I have several predictions, but just one I just feel like randomly putting up there because it's just crossing my mind as we're talking about it, is just the fact that there's only be one more Direct, right? And the fact that it is going to be one more Direct, it seems. I think whatever it is, this one Direct is going to one-up the King K. Rool Direct. I think they're going to try to one-up it. So what that means, I think, is that at least 6 characters will be revealed in the final Smash Direct, I think. It may, but also at the same time, I say at least 6, but it may just be 6, because it'll be really hard to announce like 8 characters in one single Direct, you know?
Right.
So
that'd be insane.
Like, I think it really comes down to this, like, if you're gonna have a unique fight, every unique fighter, every unique newcomer gets his own, like, CGI cutscene, right? So, it will be hard for them to say, let's say, for example, I've talked about maybe us getting 5 more unique fighters in 3 Echoes. If there is 5 more unique fighters and they only have 1 Smash Direct left, would they have 5 CGI cutscenes for each one? And if they did, how would they break that up into one final Direct?
It might be that they have one long CGI trailer for
that introduces multiple different characters.
Yeah,
that makes sense. But if they just stick to one trailer per character, then I can throw out that whole idea of 5 unique fighters left to be added to the game. I think that would be wrong if they're going to stick to the one character per trailer. But if it is like you said, then maybe no. I mean, I think in Smash Wii U and 3DS they had some cutscenes that introduced multiple characters at once, and I don't just mean clones, like actual unique fighters, right? Maybe?
I think they did, and they're kind of like bigger scale ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they had some of them where they're like a bunch of people fighting, and they announced like a couple in them. like 2 or 3.
Like I could see Isaac and Gino like being, I can see Isaac and Gino being actually like introduced in the same trailer maybe. Although I feel like there's a huge opportunity, and I've said this before, right? And even in my argument for Gino video, I used it as an introduction. I used the first cutscene in Super Smash Bros. 64 where you see the dolls, right? If you know the history for Gino, he's a doll. So if they play into that first cutscene for Smash Bros., which is about dolls being reanimated, and they use the Gino concept, which is about a doll being animated, right? Like, and they put that together, that would just be the perfect like concept, you know? So, because one, it wouldn't just be about Gino and his history as a doll being animated, but also about Smash Brothers and where it started, you know? And they could even maybe use that to play into the whole spirits mode, right? Like, people have speculated on this. I mean, it seems obvious in a way because Gino is a spirit, you know? He's a spirit in a doll. So what if he plays a role in the story for spirits? That'd be cool. Right. I mean, I said this before, but just, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Right. I would like it if they went back to them being dolls instead of trophies. Because, like, in the original, they weren't trophies. They were dolls. Like, and then all of a sudden they were trophies. Like, what? They were supposed to be, like, little toy things. Like, they're not trophies. I don't know. I always liked it better when they were when they weren't trophies. And then they
just noticed that you guys be talking trash about me in the chat.
Yeah, we are.
You had a problem with my Super Smash Bros? What? Nah, I know you guys are playing. We're good. We're good. And it's true. I can't speak English. It's impossible for me. It's an issue. No, I'm just kidding. As we were saying.
Yeah, I would prefer it to be dolls. I liked it back in the day. That intro in the N64 was cool. I don't know, it made more sense. Like Master Hand and them, they made sense. Like the trophies, they don't make sense anymore. As much sense.
You know what's a character that I always, as a kid, right? I don't think about this anymore until now. But as a kid, I was always like, why isn't he a character in Smash Bros. As a fighter? It's like, and that's Master Hand. I always wondered, why isn't Master Hand a fighter in Smash Brothers? Like, why not? You know, but I think that has always stemmed from the idea that, like, when you play these different fighting games, there's always that final character in these different fighting games in arcade mode. Right. You're like, oh, why can't I play as him? You know, and most fighting games you do unlock them, right? But in Smash Brothers it's a little different, right? And I think Soccer doesn't even consider Smash Brothers a fighting game. He considers it like an action party game. But even Nintendo considers it a fighting game, by the way. But it's like that weird like disconnect there. But
it's better as an action party game for me. It's awesome.
I prefer it with items usually too. I mean, like it's not that I don't like doing like the 1v1s for glory. I do, but I also enjoy just the variety you can get from the stages and the items.
Right.
I mean, that's what I had more fun with as a kid anyway. Like,
yeah, most of my time playing Smash is 4 players with items on a stage. Maybe not the craziest stage, but stages that like have different like gimmicks to them and stuff. I wasn't over here like 1v1ing people on, you know, Battlefield all the time.
Oh my god.
I
just got another brain blast. Okay. Alright, here we go. So, who was it? Who said it? There was several things said, and I saw these different like little words and they connected in my head. Who was it? Jesus. Okay. Rayman Master Hand. Julio Torres said, what if Rayman is Master Hand? And then Vilbeer said, lol, a giant Rayman. Okay. This is in my head. So, you guys know about Isaac from Golden Sun, right? One of his powers, he shoves a giant hand-shaped thing, right? And they use that as an assist trophy in Brawl. So, like, what if there's a cutscene with Master Hand and they reveal Isaac and he uses his powers and his power shapes something like basically like a giant green hand versus the Master Hand, and that's just a part of a giant CGI cutscene, and that introduces Isaac from Golden Sun.
That'd be cool.
I realize when I say it now, maybe it's not as crazy as I played it up to be, but I think it'd be a really neat idea.
That crazy hand comes in, he's like, oh
no! And then they show off like an echo from Golden Sun just like to counteract the crazy hand as well. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that would be funny. What happened? Oh, the music like paused for a second. I guess the way I set up the playlist, I thought something was wrong. I thought like the stream went out. Let me see what Gigi said here. He said, I like playing with items, but I want to get into competitive with young Link, Lucina, Chrom, Ridley, possibly Gino, and Elma too.
I don't think Elma's getting the game, to be honest.
Oh,
just gonna mention that.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I feel like we should get a Xenoblade rep though. I think we deserve one.
Yes, that is true, but I would like it. But I mean, like, I wouldn't mind if she wasn't in the game. If we just got like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 stage, I'd be happier, to be honest.
Yeah. Actually, I heard you guys talking about Young Link as well. Young Link is like...
I want to play as Young Link because
I want to see how he plays compared to Toon Link. I want to see how they differ there.
Because they feel like they would be the same, but I haven't played as Young Link like in a long time. So...
Right. Yeah. Not since 2001. Well, I mean, we've played Melee for longer, so. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while because he hasn't been playable since Melee. But I want to kind of bring things a little bit back to just kind of finish off this last topic. We can still talk for a little bit. We have time. But so this Smash Direct, right? It didn't happen last week. Is it possible that we'll get an announcement tomorrow for a Smash Direct and we see it Thursday? Yes. But I think, Brandon, you and I sort of insinuated that we kind of expect there to be, well, more than insinuated, we said it. There would be one more Smash Direct, right? And I know a couple weeks ago we were talking about it happening in November. If I'm trying to remember the timing, I think I forgot.
I think we said first or second week.
We went through it, though, because we think there should be a Smash test, right?
Right.
Smash comes out December 7th, right? But I think there needs to be at least 2 weeks before the game comes out for the Smash test. So we talked about it happening on, it won't happen on Thanksgiving, the 4th Thursday of the month, but it'll happen Thanksgiving weekend, so the 23rd to the 26th, right? And the thing is, if there's a Smash test, that means people download and file the game, and it could be data mined. But here's the thing. If they already tell us everything that's in the game before that point, it doesn't matter. So, if they do the Smash test 2 weeks before, like we've seen with, like, for example, Splatoon and stuff that they've done, it would maybe come on the Thanksgiving weekend, and then we get a direct before then. When do we get it? I don't see it happening on the 16th. I mean, the weekend of the 16th, that's when Pokemon Let's Go comes out, so that's the week before Thanksgiving. But I could see it happening the week before that. So basically, the first full week of Thanksgiving, I think, is what we sort of concluded would be the best time. What?
First full week of November, not the first full week of Thanksgiving.
Right, because November isn't Thanksgiving. Yeah, Jesus, it really is bad, isn't it? I can't speak English anymore. But what else is new? But anyway, yeah, the first full week of November, aka Thanksgiving month, I think that may be the best time to have the final Smash Direct. They fully blow out everything, and they have the Smash test, like 2 weeks beforehand, and maybe at some point in the month they'll be just like, oh, here's 100 facts about Smash Bros. It'll tell us kind of a whole bunch of really subtle, really interesting stuff, but nothing too major that we won't really care about being spoiled during the Smash test if it's data mined. You know what I mean? I think that could work out, and I think for the Game Awards, we'll get some sort of Smash announcement right before the game comes out related to DLC that can maybe really encourage people to get even more into the game and continue the conversation going into Smash Bros. The day it comes out. Because Game Awards is literally the day before Smash comes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible we can maybe get a Smash Direct in October. Some people have speculated that the other possibility, for example, is that, if Incineroar is a Pokemon that's going to be in Smash Bros. As a character, maybe have the Smash Direct happen. Well, the week before Pokemon Let's Go comes out actually makes sense for that. So if they have a big Pokemon reveal in Smash Bros., it would kind of play into the hype for Pokemon Let's Go as well, maybe. That's a possibility. That makes sense.
Even though he's not in that game.
Right. Another consideration is that maybe Skull Kid is in the game, and Skull Kid would work really well as a Halloween sort of character. But with the clock is ticking for that one, and I don't think they're gonna have one random trailer for Skull Kid if he's in the game as a fighter. I do think he's in the game though, because I don't think just cut him out.
You know what? Maybe they would do something near Halloween just because there's this supposed spirits mode. This game's like way darker than the other ones. We could have Skull Kid. Like maybe they're going for a spookier, more dark atmosphere, and they want to announce that around Halloween.
Oh, literally, so I was talking about the same thing we're talking. They said, "What if Smash Strike happens on Halloween?" And they announced the Skull Kid.
Oh, look at that.
I like the theming of it, right? I love the theming of it, and it'd be really cool.
Then again, we could have gotten Simon Belmont on Halloween.
Could have.
It would have been way.
But he's also a third-party character, and like kind of announcing him makes sense. And I don't know. I guess there's another thing where we talk about Skull Kid maybe being announced as a character, like an actual playable character. But we should note that there are rumors speculating that Skull Kid's been simply made into a boss instead, which kind of makes sense. I think we kind of lame to have him as a boss because he's kind of too small to be a really good boss in Smash Brothers. To which point you could say, oh, but then they could just make him the Wrath of Majora, but then he's not actually Skull Kid anymore. He's the mask transforming into something else.
Or they could make him Giant Skull Kid for no reason. Like he gets a mushroom, now he's Giant Skull Kid.
Yeah. So
they come up with some kind of bullcrap reason.
But when I think about it, though, like here's the thing. So we kind of already knew about Dark Samus and Chrom before they were announced because there was information in the game that was like, hey, why are these things missing? So the skins that was the Dark Samus colors for Samus were missing during the E3 build, and so were the skins for Chrom on, I believe, Ike. And people were like, hey, why are these missing? And then sure enough, Chrom and Dark Samus were made into Echo Fighters. So we look at the assist trophy for Skull Kid, it's gone, it's mysteriously missing, right? The powers of Skull Kid have been transferred to an item in the game, and the actual Majora's Mask, we got the moon. But they don't show Skull Kid as like using, like he's not in that animation at all, right? So why would they take him out? He's a very popular character, right? He's not like not popular, so like, oh, we don't need to show him off. Like he was represented in the previous Smash Bros. Game, right? And so I don't I think what it means is that they've done something to Skull Kid that's different. They've changed him, but what kind of changes is that we don't know yet. It could be a boss. But I like him as a fighter because I think he makes more sense as a fighter. It also plays into the whole theming of bad guys versus good guys that they've sort of been playing to so far. Like you saw that cutscene that they had in the King K. Rool reveal. They showed all the different, like, you know, Mario versus Link. Mario versus Bowser, Link versus Ganondorf. There's a few others. Samus versus Ridley.
Now they could have young Link versus Skull Kid.
Yeah, exactly. So, be a cool idea.
Too bad we don't have Toon Link versus Wind Waker Ganon.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
My prediction video. Oof. Dreams crushed.
Well, I mean, Toon Link. Well, maybe they could do an echo of for Toon Link Ganondorf or something like that, or maybe he could just be an alternate skin.
That'd be dope.
I guess the problem with
his giant dual swords.
I guess that's the problem is that he doesn't actually use two swords. I guess what they could do is just like whenever, instead of when Ganondorf swings the one big sword, he could just have the two swords together, and they could just, I don't know.
I feel like that's a lot of work for a skin, though.
It would be. At that point, it's like almost pretty much an echo.
You have to at that point, why not make it an echo? Because you already made a whole new model for the guy, so.
Yeah. You would have to make a whole new model because it's not just a texture change, right? Like
he looks completely different.
But I mean, we've had some interesting alt skins already, right? Like we have the Mario builder costume, we have the Mario wedding costume so far, we have the Mecha Ridley costume, right, which is pretty different from normal Ridley, and we have apparently the new Yoshi costume that it basically like a furry cardboardy Yoshi or something.
But that's mostly just like textures and different things like slight improvement. Like this would be like completely different polygon structure.
Right.
Like
no,
it'd be
you're
way
right.
different.
Yeah, no, I know. That's true. So I guess maybe having Toon Gandorf wouldn't really work as an alternate costume. You're right. Oh my God, my English it's degraded. I said costume. What is happening? I'm dying.
Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Yeah. So he would have to be an Echo because they would have to put more work into him. They have to rework the animations to make sense. He could be an Echo. I think they could. I don't know if that's like the most likely candidate for an Echo, but like if they wanted to,
I'd way rather have that than like Shadow.
Yeah, but actually Shadow, I'm pretty sure is gonna be in the game because
probably
they took him out as an assist trophy, so maybe they just cut him entirely. But if they're just a pretty popular character, why would just cut him out? I think it makes more sense that. And has his powers even been like replaced? I'm not sure. So it kind of seems like he's been changed in some way. So either he's been cut from the game, or he's gotten some sort of promotion. One or the other.
Maybe he's a boss in the game, so he doesn't have assist trophy, huh?
Private Information is asking, so where's the source for the nuts and bolts thing? Are you referring to... Well,
the nuts and bolts thing is just a quote in the game. At the end.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know. Oh, Julio thinks he can take some coffee. Oh, I need to go to sleep. That's what I need to do.
Right?
Yeah. Coffee will not help me for sleeping. Oh, wait. I think I see an interesting idea here. So, Salas is saying, imagine a GameCube as an assist trophy. You throw it, and everyone will turn into their GameCube graphics for a couple of seconds. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be nice.
That'd be really cool.
They could have an N64 one as well.
That's a neat
idea.
idea.
Like they shouldn't have a Wii U one. That'd be lame. They could have a Wii, GameCube, and N64. Those would be the only interesting ones. Like Wii U is barely any different.
The lighting's worse.
I meant like, yeah, but the models themselves.
You know, I agree with you.
Much worse.
I know. I'm just being.
They did
being
make
an ass.
changes. They did make changes, but it's not like you're gonna notice that much. But dude, yeah, I'd way rather have an N64 item that does that than a GameCube one.
All right. Just a good point that GG made though is that he's saying that he, and I'm assuming he means Sakurai, right? Sakurai, he doesn't plan special holiday character reveals. Like if the direct was on Halloween, it doesn't mean he has to put scary chocolate. Yeah, I don't think they rarely ever really do anything for that with their directs in relation to holidays. So you're right. You know, it's just an idea that seems fitting, but it's not really likely. So definitely, I wouldn't assume that Skull Kid will be revealed on Halloween. But it's a nice idea, right? So we'll see. Probably not, but you know. I still think Skull Kid has a great chance in Smash, but we'll see. I think he's in Smash. I just don't know if he's a boss or a character. That's the debate, really. Let me see. So Science Joe is saying, I think we will get a short Smash Direct this month, and then in November we will get a Nintendo Direct focusing on upcoming games, including Metroid Prime 4, and once they get through like 10. Oh, through 10 minutes of games, they will focus on Smash. Okay, yeah. That's an interesting idea. I was thinking that they would have the Direct after Smash Bros. Comes out that focuses on the future games, but that does it could work maybe. Oh, yeah. Which poster are we talking? We're talking about this one, right? Because I have like a few different Dragon Ball posters. I think you mean this one here in the back with where Goku's doing the Kamehameha wave.
The only one you can actually see Goku, I think.
Yeah, the other ones aren't right. You're right. Okay, they're logic. Yeah. But I can see. My eyes can see.
I hope.
Well, the problem with the Sakurai leaving a surprise character for you to unlock is one. He said that all the characters would be revealed before release.
Right.
So that would be contradictory. But also, too, the game will probably be data mined by the time it comes out, and it'll be spoiled. And even if it's not spoiled by data miners, there are reviewers who will probably spoil it as well.
And don't say, oh, but they could have, they could just tell them not to spoil that in.
I think the only way that they could have a secret character in the game is if they do like a day one DLC update. And even then, that might still be leaked, because a lot of times games have like some data suggesting there'll be DLC characters.
Usually they keep, even if for next update, usually they have some data for that next update in there. That way the next update kind of knows where to install and stuff, and it's easier and stuff like that.
So can't they do that without putting names
they
of characters?
They can, but
yeah, like for example, great example actually, we knew the entire list of DLC characters for all the Dragon Ball fighters for the Season 1 DLC. Like, pretty much after the game came out, we knew all the DLC characters. People were hoping that that list of names was just maybe filler names, but as all of the characters have come out, every single name has been true. Which, kind of just brings me to a random point. I talked about it with you, Brian. I don't know if I talked about it publicly, though. So,
if you're talking about the same thing, I think we did.
We did? Saying anyways, because it bothers me. So, there is this, leaker, quote-unquote, the Hitagi guy, who, he's the one who was leaking Minecraft Steve in Smash Bros. Ultimate. Leaking, right? Because it's only a leak if it's real. I'm not, he said, he had 3 claims, that were, I'm trying to remember them. One of them was the Minecraft Steve thing. The other one was that Android 17 would be the next DLC fighter, and he'd have his clothing based off Dragon Ball Super. That one was not a prediction, because we knew about it for months. We knew about Android 17 for months. Everyone was saying, oh, he's super credible. He predicted Android 17 as a DLC fighter. But anyone who was following the Dragon Ball fighters, like, sort of like, media would have known that, yeah, we knew about that, like, pretty much when the game came out. So a lot of people were giving Hitagi a lot of credibility for that. He did have one other leak, though, that was interesting. I forget what the game was. It was a fighting game. I don't even know what the game's called. Like some sort of samurai game. I have to go and check the name of it. But he did, for that one, it was kind of crazy. But all the other stuff was just, well, I mean, it was just that and the Dragon Ball FighterZ thing, which everyone already knew about. And that's the sort of random thing to bring up. People were giving him a lot of credibility, and they would say, oh, he leaked Android 17. We knew about Android 17 for months before he leaked it, so. But anyways, yeah, just wanted to say that, because it bothers me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hello, Professor Ass. How you doing? I think we're pretty much near the end of the discussion, though, so I guess for the next, like, 5-8 minutes, if you guys have any topics or questions, put it in the chat now, and we'll talk about it. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to cover, Brandon, before we call it a night?
Not really. I guess we'll just read the comments. Actually, one that just came out, it was interesting, from Sabbath.
Yes, Professor Acid, I do. I do not remember what you said, though, because there's so many different things that are said all the time, but I do remember.
Right. But yeah, Sabbath64 asks, what if Phil Spencer and Reggie announced something together at the Game Awards?
Holding hands. They don't have to be holding hands. It would just be funny.
Yeah, I mean, they could announce, like, Banjo as DLC, because I don't think they're going to announce anything, like, for the actual game at the Game Awards. It's too late.
And like I was making the point earlier, Banjo would make more sense from a business perspective as DLC, I think, because people will buy the DLC for Banjo, right?
Right.
People are going to buy Smash regardless of whether Banjo's in it or not. And if the people are buying the DLC, there's more money in Nintendo's pockets, and there's more money in Microsoft's pockets.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe they announce that at the Game Awards. It's possible.
Robeer's saying for the next Smash Direct, we're getting Isaac, Skull Kid, Banjo, Conquer, Steve, and Rayman. Don't forget Gumby and Barney, and Shrek, and Pinocchio. Well, actually, I mean, those aren't the only one that I'd be
everyone's
like,
favorite character, Dora.
Oh, Dora the Explorer is the best one, yeah. I don't. I feel like Conquer will
Not
never
gonna
happen.
get in.
No, and it's like I feel like Conker's chances are even lower than Steve, and even though I really like Conker, I think the problem with Conker is that Nintendo hates Conker. Like Nintendo had an issue with Rare when Conker's Bad Fur Day came out, like because it just didn't fit the Nintendo image. It did not at all. So, you know, there's that, and now on top of that, not only does it not fit the Nintendo image, it also, it's owned by Microsoft now, right? So that's kind of like two things really holding it back. But hey, if it happens, I'll love it, because Conker's a really freaking cool character.
He kind of annoys me, but I've never played this game, so I kind of have it as an out of context. He's kind of like a Rabid. Like, he's weird. I don't know, in my mind. He just kind of shouts and makes fart jokes and shoots machine guns for no reason. I have literally no context for what he actually does in his own game. So...
Funny stuff. Actually, I'm thinking about getting Rare Replay and streaming a few things, like Banjo Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day. Because I never got to play Conker's Bad Fur Day because my cousin got it, but like it was just this game that was rated M, and I was a kid that couldn't play it. But
yeah, I think the only rated M game I played on N64 was GoldenEye. Maybe some Star Wars games I played.
I remember fighting tooth and nail because we had Turok on the N64, and my parents were going to take it back because it was rated M. And we already had it for a while, though. So I was like, no. I fought, I cried, and I won that battle. We kept Turok.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never played Turok.
You gotta fight for your beliefs and dreams, my friends.
GoldenEye was rated teen? Oh, really?
Oh. What?
Interesting.
Was it?
I guess
yeah,
it was.
I guess I could see that. But I saw a question from Professor Asking was asking, what do you want to see at the Game Awards, right? The VGAs. I want to see Metro Prime 4. I think that was definitely teased recently by there's that picture. I made a video about it, but there was a picture with Reggie and Jeff Keighley. And Reggie had a Metroid shirt on, and if you understand the whole history of Reggie wearing a pin at the Game Awards 4 years ago, like it kind of all seems to be suggesting, hey, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be at the Game Awards. So I think Metroid Prime 4, I think we're going to get Smash and that Smash announcement because it's literally the day right before, and Reggie and Jeff Keighley even insinuated that back at E3 during an interview that they would have to do something. And I think if there's going to be any... Definitely Metroid Prime 4, definitely something Smash related. If there's anything else, because that's already a lot, it would be Bayonetta 3. So we'll see. Those I made predictions for that, but you know that's a lot. It's kind of more like a wish list. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things pan out this December.
Yeah.
Dora the Horror, that's a good one, Sabbath.
Oof. Oof, oof.
The Dragon Born for Smash Ultimate. That's definitely another good one, Robeer.
Yeah, that can't happen. It would be interesting if we did get an Elder Scrolls character, but there's just not really an Elder Scrolls...
No.
Everything... There's like 12 different races to choose from, and every race has like different versions, and it's like fully customizable, and it's just not happening.
I don't see it. Best
but
case
maybe
scenario,
we could get like an Elder Scrolls stage.
Yeah. Because Elder Scrolls is about the world, you know? That's the thing. Like, Sakurai, if you look at how he handles these characters, he always does something that's an homage to that game, right? He cares about that history, that connection, and he knows what that game is. So when you get a character, like, there's something aspect to that character that reminds you of the game. They take elements of that game and they convert it into the Smash formula. So, you know, I just feel like that wouldn't fit too well. A stage would be interesting. I mean, if they had like a Viking dude running around having dragon screams, Das Froda or something, be interesting. But if he takes an arrow to the knee, so that it won't work out. So if Link hits him with an arrow and hits the knee, it's like auto kill.
You get
That'd
a
be
point.
funny as hell. yeah. So, but I think we're pretty much done here, guys. Is there anything else we wanna cover, or is that pretty much it? Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, we could talk about our plans for the week in case any other sort of interesting questions or comments come out right at the end.
My plans for the week. What are my plans for the week? That's a good question.
You're gonna hit the clubs. You're going to Disney World.
Yeah, boy.
You're gonna plant some flowers. You're gonna clean your bathroom. Do your laundry. I already did my laundry, so I don't have to do that.
Right.
No, but so I think Brandon, both of you and I are both coming out with some sort of N64 games list video tomorrow. No,
I don't know
planned. It was a mistake.
Right, yeah. I don't know about yours, but mine is actually my dream list, so it's not like what I think is actually gonna happen. I don't know if yours is like what you think is actually gonna happen.
I might turn mine to my predictions, so it's like a little different. But the thing is, I think I'm gonna basically say at the beginning of the video, these are my predictions, but because I really don't know what the hell's gonna happen, it's basically a wish list.
See, I put crazy ones on there
that
aren't happening.
Yeah. But you know, we'll see what happens with that. And I think I'm also planning. I'm still doing the Ocarina of Time streams, right? So I'm gonna stream Ocarina of Time Wednesday and Friday. My Thursday video, should I say what it is?
I don't know.
It's gonna be Smash related.
Okay. My Thursday video, I may talk about Banjo Threeie. I'm not sure.
Okay. Thank you, Nerdy Cabana, for coming around, guys. Check them out. I'm glad you like the community here. Very, very cool. Who was it to ask me about Adeline? Adeline is the painter girl from Kirby Crystal Shards, right?
I think so.
If so, I don't think she should be a fighter. And I love Kirby Crystal Shards. Played that game in my childhood. I have huge nostalgia for her. I think she's super cool. I would like her as an assist trophy. I think she makes more sense as an assist trophy. But at the same time, the same thing I said about Minecraft Steve. If Sakurai decides to design a character, he could really just like shock me with how great that design would be. Like, look at Wii Fit Trainer. I would have never thought that would have been a great fighter, right? So, you know. But, I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd say that Adeline's not going to be a fighter. I would say, if anything, she's going to be an assist trophy, if anything.
Right.
So, yeah. Josh, will I be playing any games after the stream? I don't know. I think I'm watching Fairy Tail, actually. I've been rewatching Fairy Tail since the season came back, so I decided to start from the beginning. Yeah.
I got addicted to The Office, and I have not watched anything, and my life is nothing but The Office, and I haven't slept in 3 days. Actually, I've slept.
3 days. Cool. 3 days. That sounds great. Well, I can't do that. I need to sleep every day. Sometimes I take naps like a baby.
I took a nap today. It was only 30 minutes, and it did pretty much nothing, but I took one. Because I was tired as hell. Dude, I was so tired. I was working out today, and I had to stop early, and then I went, and I was, like, barely standing up in the shower. I was, like, felt like I was going to pass out. Yeah. That's how tired I was.
This is a very extended goodbye, so thank you guys for listening and watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to check out Brandon from What About Nintendo if you haven't already. The link to his channel is in the description below. If you like me and you haven't been here before, make sure to subscribe. Leave a like, guys. Really appreciate it. It helps out. And at the very least, what it does is when I see that number, it makes me feel good and not sad and depressed. Joking aside, though, yeah, check it out. Also have a Discord, Instagram, and stuff. Also, just a random teaser. There's maybe something changing about my Twitter, so you may want to check it out. You may find it really interesting, especially if you're a fan of a particular someone who co-hosts on my show. And I don't mean Brandon. So, yeah, just little teaser out there. Check out my Twitter. I think you guys are going to find it really funny when it happens.
I have to put out a teaser.
What?
And, I mean, if you're going to put out a crazy teaser, I have to put out a crazy teaser, too. Gotta match what's being put out here.
And click the stream off now, so you can't.
Yeah, I have some interesting ideas to make coffee talk, something completely different, video based, and probably the most unique form of putting out Nintendo news on YouTube.
Is it gonna be in slips of toilet paper?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that
no.
would be unique, right? All right, guys. All right. Good night, everyone. Take care. We'll see you soon. All right. Bye.
Bye.